I am just finishing up going through one of the most unpleasant experiences of my life since I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The last 8 to 10 weeks have been so draining, but it's also provided an opportunity to learn about something new that I believe everyone needs to know about: the dangers of urinary tract infections with Parkinson's disease. Having an illness on top of Parkinson's disease can be so debilitating. And have I had my dignity stolen? Yes, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. This video is the first one in a series that we're working on about Parkinson's disease and progression. So near the end of this video, when video 2 becomes available, we'll put a link up towards it. It'll be up around here. And when you're done here, we'll see you over there. I would like to thank our sponsor for this episode, Comfort Linen, for always being there with your friction-reducing sleep system. It's just amazing what it can do for people when they're having movement problems in bed. I mean, when I'm out of energy and I can barely move, it's nice to have that little boost from Comfort Linen. And Haley likes it too when she needs to move me in bed, that it's so easy with the friction-reducing garments and sheets that Comfort Linen invented. So there's a link down in the description below that will take you over there, and you'll earn some extra money off your next purchase using that link as well. Somewhere around 8 to 10 weeks ago, and now this is if you have Parkinson's disease, a high oxalate content in your body could cause you more problems with things like tremors, dyskinesia, bradykinesia, dystonia. Anything where involuntary movements involved can be affected by high oxalate content. And as I started to change my diet away from high oxalate foods, and my body started to dump the reserves that it had for my oxalates just into my system randomly, after some weeks of this, I was like, okay, it's got to be done yet. It can't keep going on. Somewhere along those lines, it turned into a urinary tract infection, which I did not recognize because I've never had one, and I just wasn't aware of the complexities regarding UTIs and Parkinson's disease. And the problem with this is that my wife Haley was like, Dave, you have a urinary tract infection, a UTI, you need to go get your urine tested at the lab. And I was like, no, it's oxalates. So it became a battle of which one is it? Is it oxalates or is it urinary tract infection? Now, this is the first thing you really need to know right now, is that you need to listen to your caregiver. If your caregiver is trying to pound something through to you, you really do need to pay attention. And I didn't pay attention. And I lost some weeks and a lot of dignity and a lot of heartache and problems, because I think some of the things that the caregivers go through is because we're on the inside of our Parkinson's disease looking out. And it's hard for us to see what's going on. So I got so laser focused on the oxalates, I couldn't see the urinary tract infection. And sometimes I think our caregivers are really affected by the way we act and we treat them with our Parkinson's disease. I'm not saying we all treat them badly, but I'm saying, in my situation, Haley was trying to tell me something, but every time she opened her mouth to communicate, I would shut her down. I'd be like, no, it's the oxalates. It can't be a urinary tract infection. It's impossible. And, they can't yell at us all the time. And I think we can really hurt their feelings when we don't listen and take them seriously. So I just encourage you to talk to your caregiver or your spouse, whoever is in charge of your primary care, and just talk to them about communication, apologize if you need to, and just reestablish those old lines of communication, and things can go a lot better for you guys than it did for me. I would like to take this opportunity to publicly apologize to you, Haley. I'm sorry I didn't listen. I will listen better next time. I promise I will try harder. Please accept my apology. I love you very much, and I really appreciate all your extra help taking care of me. And I really couldn't have done it without my wife, Haley, the last number of weeks. It's just been so hard to deal with the urinary tract infection. It is just so debilitating. It's had me out of action for a long time. That's where I've been. That's why there's no videos. It's because I didn't listen, but I will listen now. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you. Let's shift our focus and talk about some of the symptoms of UTIs, because I believe this is what you need to know right now. You need to know right now that the symptom list for someone with Parkinson's is very, very different from someone without Parkinson's disease. And we're just going to go through the symptoms with Parkinson's disease just to simplify it, and I'll talk a little bit about what I experienced from each one. So I've made up some slides here, and the first one is autonomic dysfunction. Parkinson's disease affects the autonomic nervous system, which controls bladder function. This leads to urinary urgency, frequency, nocturia, and retention, all of which increase the risk of UTI. I gotta tell you, I've never in my life gone pee so many times. And when the nighttime came, I began to be a little bit afraid because I'm like, how many times am I going to go tonight? And my energy level, my fatigue level was so high, and I couldn't get out of bed on my own. So every time I had to go pee, I had to call Haley for help. She just came night after night after night and never complained, never said anything negative. She was just like, I'm here to help. Next slide, neurogenic bladder. Up to 80% of people with Parkinson's disease experience lower urinary tract symptoms, such as detrusor overactivity or impaired bladder emptying. Detrusor overactivity is a condition characterized by involuntary contractions of the bladder muscle. This condition is a significant contributor to bladder control disorders, leading to symptoms such as urgency, frequency, and sometimes incontinence. Oh my goodness, incontinence. Yes, I suffer from that a lot as the bladder affection came on, and I ended up having to get some adult pull-ups, better known as Depends, adult diapers, some people might say. And, Parkinson's disease sometimes is the gift that keeps on taking. And, it just took my dignity and swallowed it up whole. On the other side of that, I began to understand a lot of what people go through in the later stages of Parkinson's disease. Okay, here's one of the big ones that we really need to pay attention to. Silent infection. Unlike typical cases, people with Parkinson's disease may not feel pain or burning with the UTI. Instead, they may show lethargy, fatigue, confusion, or sudden decline in daily functioning. Yeah, and I had the lethargy, what I like to call fatigue, in double doses. Yes, confusion, absolutely. There were many times I wasn't myself, and my daughter and son-in-law would say, "Is Dad okay? He doesn't seem to be acting himself." And there were times I went to Haley and I would say, "Sweetheart, can you just sit with me a little bit? Because I just don't feel myself. I just don't feel right." And with daily functioning, my motor skills went way down. I was beginning to become concerned more about falling, which led me to having to crawl a lot of the time during the day. My off time just ballooned and expanded. It was very, very debilitating. The next slide is complications. UTIs are a leading cause of delirium, falls, and hospitalizations in Parkinson's disease patients. Yeah, I did everything in my power to avoid a fall because I knew it would just be so damaging to fall when you have no energy to stop yourself from falling or catch yourself on the ground. I was terrified. And the next slide is progression impact. Recurrent UTIs can worsen frailty and cognitive impairment, compounding Parkinson's disease non-motor symptoms. Yes, I agree with that last slide. Often I felt like an old man in a young person's body. Hey, I'm only 52, but I just couldn't imagine getting a UTI and then a week later getting another one. So I think there's a lot of stuff we need to pay attention to, and that's what you need to know right now. Okay, last part of the video. Have patience. This will eventually end. I think the most important thing to remember here is that this will eventually end, the antibiotics will work, and the UTI will go away. Just have patience. As part of what you need to know right now are preventative strategies. And I've made up some slides here to talk about them, so let's have a quick look at those before the end of the video. Early detection is crucial. Caregivers should watch for sudden cognitive or functional decline as a possible sign of UTI in Parkinson's disease. The main marker for basically people without Parkinson's disease would be the burning pain. But with Parkinson's disease, it's a sudden decline in cognitive ability. So if your person with Parkinson's is all of a sudden just gone way, way backwards, get their urine checked by their doctor at the lab. Very important. The next slide is medical evaluation. Urinalysis should be done promptly if infection is suspected. Okay, we just talked about that. Here are some prevention strategies. Encourage regular hydration. Manage bladder emptying. Timed voiding. You could be like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory and have your bathroom breaks scheduled in. That's actually probably a good idea. Reduce catheter use when possible. And the last slide is holistic care, addressing UTIs as part of managing non-motor symptoms in Parkinson's disease, which can be just as disabling as motor symptoms. Yes, it is. Definitely just as debilitating. And the link for the next video should be up here now, so when you're done here, I'll see you over there. And I just wanted to mention one more time our sponsor, Comfort Linen. Thank you for everything you do for us. Thank you for supporting Life with Parkinson's. Thank you for supporting this video. And thank you for making it easier for us to access friction-reducing garments that will supply us a lot more ability to move in bed. Just a reminder, there's a link in the description down below that will take you to their website. Thank you for continuing to take this journey together. Thank you for liking, watching, subscribing, and sharing this video with your family and friends. Please leave a question or a comment below. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.